do you believe that the market is oversaturated as far as podcast goes, where everybody wants a podcast and it's all right, you're not even giving game, you're not even really entertaining, and then you have the celebrities, they're now flooding the market when their careers start to fail in the music or the sports, and it's, I got to follow and I'm gonna just jump in front of a camera.
I got some money.
Yeah, I got some money.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want.
I can do whatever I want, and then they get over here in the space and it doesn't translate the way they thought it was, and we see a lot of their podcasts failing, where before it was the fans were starting the content and they were coming on just to support that, and you got better content that way. To me,
because it was organically taking place, it wasn't being forced. Like people weren't like, I'm just gonna be a podcaster today. You know what I mean? Like it was like organically happening. Like, I got a following, I'm talking, I'm doing this, I got a message, I got a point to get across. It's like, oh shit, my career is over. Let me buy some cameras and some equipment. And I'm gonna just talk, and it's blah. It's just boring. You're not giving nothing of positive, like to feed the people. It's just like, what am I watching? But the podcast market, I don't think is oversaturated with the podcast. I think a certain section of podcasting is oversaturated. Like this beef podcast, this I'm against you, you against me, this like super anything for content type shit, right? Like that's oversaturated. And I think that's gonna get played out. And I've kind of already seen it happening in 2024. Like nobody wants to consume this all day. Like out of saying like this too shall pass. Like you don't realize that you're burning out and crashing out for something that's only gonna last for you for 2 months. You burning bridges and messing up relationships. They're gonna forget about you as soon as you're not on camera.
Facts.
They're gonna forget about you. So you're sacrificing and jeopardizing so much shit in life for 2 months of recognition. And it's like, damn, y'all so thirsty. But like you've never been a small dude. You've never been a small, dumb it down kind of nigga, right?
Right.
So you ain't never had to seek gratification through people knowing you. That's just that's your life. That's who we are. We were the middle of the party. We were a middle of attention. So these people, they get a little bit of attention that they never had before. And they don't know how to fucking act. Just like a nigga with no power, get some power. He don't know what to do with that power.
Now you're abusing it.
And so they get used to and addicted to somebody commenting or somebody liking a post that they just, this what got the most views. When I was acting a fool. Okay, how do I act a fool again? Or now my views is down. Who do I beef with? You know what I mean? Who's in the limelight that I could go at and beef with them and garner some attention? Like the shit is sad and it's played out.
I think it's interesting.
How to rob route. No, go ahead, bro.
You were saying, how you feel like it's a type of content that's oversaturated. And I feel like that's true to the point to where now you're seeing shows like the Balloon Pop, the Rate Me. I feel like those shows are coming out of the podcasts that are failing to a certain degree. That kind of content is what's next, because people are realizing if we're sitting here like this, people don't really want to hear what would you rate me or how many bills, whatever you want to over and over and over again. So now we gotta make a setting and a game out of it to make it more entertaining and to keep people interested. Otherwise, it's gonna fall off. So I 100% agree with that.
See, why I asked about it being oversaturated, what I see in the market is suffering from what they call a paradox of choice, which means you have so many options, you can't pick one.
Right.
Like Netflix. It's like, you ever try to pick a Netflix movie?
Spending an hour.
You're spending an hour
Food already cold,
just to pick the
now,
movie.
Every time you go to one, you're like, I might can find a better one. Yeah.
I think I can find a better one. And that's what's going on with the podcast game and why it's so hard to build a following and a cult following, where before COVID hit, before the podcast rush, where people were like, oh shit, they getting rich over there. They giving out bags. Spotify giving out bags. People weren't really starting them unless you really loved to make content. Right. Now, you got any random people in their backyard with an iPhone just talking about any and everything. And when you want to go consume content, you don't know where to, what do I pick? What's the most like, fuck it, I ain't gonna pick nothing at this point. I'm gonna just wait for the YouTube shorts. Like, I ain't even gonna watch the long content. So it's kind of burning out and flushing out the valuable content with the bullshit.
See, I think the biggest thing is, to go back to what y'all saying, is the why factor. I think why you do what you do is what make people who they is. And a lot of these things that they see is like just trends. You know what I mean? So everybody that's not in this lane, or they might jump in that lane thinking like, oh, this is working for them, let me do what they doing instead of just being original. If you had a gang original podcast, like you said, from the 19 Keys to the Joe Rogans to different people, that's like just watching different TV shows. It's a million different networks, but if everything on TV is the same thing, you don't get tired of watching it. So I think that's where it comes in. Just same way it happened to the music. You got a million people that want to be rappers, but at the same time, rappers used to rap because they had the passion for rapping.
Right.
So I just think now it's more so of a trend, and it looks easy, like y'all said, but it ain't easy just talking or even coming up with meaningful subjects to even speak on. So I just think that's a distinguishing factor of why you doing what you do versus, oh, I'm gonna get a viral moment and I'm gonna blow up. When the shit don't happen like that, then you get people that do it 2-3 months and they quit.
Ultimately, too, it's a herd mentality, right? So imagine if the algorithm pushed people like us more often and we went to fame faster, how many people you think would say, okay, let me try this content I actually want to try? You get what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people fall victim to herd mentality and they just do what everybody else is doing because they see the results. So like you were saying, it's us, but it's also, social media that is kind of telling us what we're supposed to do in return. Because only 1 or 2 people really start the shit. Social media blows them up and then everybody else follows suit. So I feel like it's on us, but it's also on these platforms or these companies as well that are making these algorithms that are somewhat telling us what we're supposed to do.
No, that's a fact. And speaking of beefing with people,